Disclaimer: this video is for informational purposes only and does not replace professional medical advice. Always consult your doctor for any doubts or health concerns. Hello, and welcome back to Health Pills. Today, we are going to talk about a condition that affects millions of people around the world, often starting silently but growing to impact daily comfort, mobility, and confidence: swelling in the legs, ankles, and feet. We've all been there at some point in our lives. Perhaps it was after a long international flight, a stressful day spent entirely on your feet, or maybe during a particularly hot summer week where the heat seemed unbearable. You look down, and your ankles seem to have completely disappeared. Your shoes, which fit perfectly in the morning, now feel like tight vices gripping your feet, and there is a heavy, uncomfortable sensation in your lower limbs that just won't go away. But here is the truth that most people overlook: swelling, medically known as edema, is rarely just a cosmetic issue or a simple annoyance caused by tight shoes or aging. It is a biological message. It is a signal, a whisper from your body telling you that something deeper is happening beneath the surface, indicating potential issues with your circulation, your metabolic health, and the delicate balance of fluids within your cells. Many people try to fix this with quick remedies like compression socks, elevating their feet, or getting a massage. While these can help temporarily, they often fail to address the root cause, managing the flood without fixing the leak. To truly fix this problem, we need to understand the leak in the pump. In this video, we will explore 12 comprehensive insights and strategies, ranging from metabolic fixes to mechanical solutions, that will help you stop the leakage, repair the pumps, and reduce that swelling for good. Let's dive right in. 1. Understanding the body's compartments. To solve the puzzle of swollen ankles, we first need to visualize how the human body handles water. We are essentially walking bodies of water, but this fluid is carefully organized and sequestered into 3 distinct compartments. First, we have the intracellular compartment. This is the space inside your trillions of cells. About 2/3 of your body's fluid should reside here, where your DNA, enzymes, and manufacturing processes take place. This is healthy water. Second, we have the bloodstream. This is the highway that transports nutrients, vitamins, and oxygen. Surprisingly, this accounts for about 5% to 7% of your fluid, kept under pressure by your heart to circulate through your veins and arteries. But then, there is a third space, the extracellular or interstitial fluid. This is the space between the cells and the blood vessels. It is normal to have some fluid here, about 20% to 25%, because nutrients need to cross this space. However, edema occurs when this balance is broken. It happens when too much fluid leaks out of the cells or out of the bloodstream and gets trapped in this third space, or when the body fails to pump it back out. When you see swelling in your feet, what you are actually seeing is a traffic jam in this interstitial space. The fluid is pulling because of gravity, and it has nowhere to go. 2. The sodium-potassium pump. Now, let's zoom into the microscopic level. On the surface of every single cell in your body, there are tiny mechanisms known as sodium-potassium pumps. These aren't mechanical pumps, but enzymatic pumps powered by ATP, energy. These little pumps are so vital to your survival that they account for roughly 30% to 40% of your body's total energy expenditure. Their job is simple but critical: they regulate the concentration of minerals inside and outside the cell. They work tirelessly to keep potassium inside the cell and push sodium outside the cell. Why does this matter for your swollen ankles? Because of a fundamental law of physics: water always follows minerals. If you have the right concentration of potassium inside the cell, the fluid is pulled into the cell and stays there, keeping the cell hydrated and healthy. This creates a magnetic pull that keeps water where it belongs. However, if this pump fails, perhaps due to a lack of nutrients or energy, the balance is lost. Sodium may creep into the cell, or fluid may simply leak out into that interstitial space we just talked about. When these billions of tiny pumps are not working efficiently, you end up with cellular leakage. This is one of the primary metabolic reasons why fluid ends up in the wrong place, contributing to that puffiness you see in your lower limbs. 3. Insulin resistance and sodium retention. We cannot talk about fluid retention without addressing the elephant in the room, insulin resistance. Most people associate insulin only with blood sugar and diabetes, but this hormone is a master regulator of fluid balance as well. When you consume a diet high in processed carbohydrates and sugar, or if you eat too frequently, your insulin levels remain chronically high. This condition sends a very specific and problematic signal to your kidneys. High insulin tells the kidneys to retain sodium. Remember the golden rule of physiology: water follows sodium. When your kidneys are forced to hold on to sodium instead of excreting it, they also hold on to water to dilute that sodium. This increases the overall volume of fluid in your bloodstream. Think of it like overfilling a water balloon. As the volume in your blood vessels increases, the pressure rises significantly inside your veins. This excess pressure pushes water out of the blood vessels and into the surrounding tissues, the extracellular space. So, that swelling in your legs might actually be a symptom of a metabolic problem starting in your diet. High insulin creates a double whammy: it makes you retain fluid volume and damages the vessels, making leakage almost inevitable. Lowering insulin is often the single most effective step to dropping water weight quickly. 4. Glycation and vessel damage. Let's dig deeper into the health of your blood vessels. If you have high blood sugar, you are at risk of a process called glycation. This is where sugar molecules bind to protein molecules in your blood and vessel walls. Over time, this process turns your flexible, elastic blood vessels into stiff, rigid structures. Imagine a fresh rubber hose versus an old, dried-out one that is cracking in the sun. This is what sugar does to your arteries. When your blood vessels become stiff due to glycation, they lose their ability to adapt to pressure changes. More importantly, this damage increases the permeability of the vessel walls, making them leaky. A leaky vessel allows fluid to escape from the bloodstream into the tissue much more easily than a healthy one. If you combine this leaky vessel structure with the high fluid volume caused by insulin resistance, you have a recipe for disaster. The fluid is pushed out through the damaged walls and settles in your ankles simply because gravity pulls it to the lowest point. Addressing blood sugar is not just about diabetes, it is about maintaining the structural integrity of your circulation. 5. Potassium deficiency. We discussed the sodium-potassium pump earlier, but let's focus on the fuel for that pump, potassium. This is arguably the most critical mineral for preventing edema, yet it is one of the most common deficiencies in the modern diet. Our bodies are designed to function on a diet high in potassium and relatively low in sodium. However, modern processed foods have flipped this ratio upside down, flooding us with salt while starving us of potassium. Without enough potassium, the body cannot pull fluid back into the cells. Potassium is the magnet that holds water where it belongs, inside the cell. When you are deficient, that magnetic pull is gone, and the water drifts out. To fix this, we need to look at our food sources. Potassium is found in abundance in natural, whole foods. Avocados are a superstar source, as are leafy green vegetables, beans, yogurt, and even animal proteins like salmon. It is no coincidence that the same foods that are low in processed sugar, helping with insulin, are also high in potassium. By increasing your intake of these potassium-rich foods, you provide the raw materials your cells need to run their pumps. 6. Magnesium, the spark plug. If potassium is the engine, magnesium is the key that turns the ignition. The sodium-potassium pump is an active mechanism, meaning it requires energy. This energy comes in the form of ATP, but ATP cannot work without magnesium. Magnesium is essential for hundreds of enzymatic processes in the body, including the proper functioning of the muscles and nerves that control circulation. Unfortunately, magnesium deficiency is rampant because our soils are depleted and we eat too many refined foods. Without sufficient magnesium, the sodium-potassium pump stalls. The potassium cannot get in, the sodium cannot get out, and the fluid balance collapses. Furthermore, magnesium helps relax the blood vessels and supports muscle function, which is crucial for mechanical pumping. Incorporating magnesium-rich foods like pumpkin seeds, chia seeds, black beans, and leafy greens is essential. Even a simple snack of yogurt with some pumpkin seeds can provide a massive chunk of your daily requirement. If you can't get enough from food, a high-quality electrolyte supplement containing magnesium and potassium can be a game-changer for reducing swelling, helping to reactivate the pumps that keep your ankles slender. 7. Protein and albumin. There is another metabolic cause for swelling that is often overlooked: a lack of protein in the blood. Specifically, a protein called albumin, which is produced by the liver and acts like a sponge in your bloodstream. Albumin's job is to hold onto water inside the blood vessels, preventing it from leaking out. This is called oncotic pressure. If your albumin levels drop, your blood loses its sponginess and lets the water go. Low albumin can result from two main issues: either you are not eating enough high-quality protein, or you are not digesting and absorbing it properly. It can also be a sign that the liver is struggling to produce it. Ensuring you eat adequate amounts of quality protein, eggs, fish, poultry, meat, is vital for maintaining fluid balance. Ultimately, without enough protein, no amount of compression socks will stop the leak, because the blood simply cannot hold onto the water. 8. The lymphatic pump and breathing. So far, we have discussed why fluid leaks out. Now, we must discuss why it isn't being pumped back up. The body has a drainage system called the lymphatic system, which collects waste and excess fluid from the tissues. Unlike the circulatory system, which has a massive heart to pump blood, the lymphatic system does not have a central heart. It relies on movement and pressure differences to push fluid upward against gravity. The most powerful engine for this system is your diaphragm, your breathing muscle. When you take a deep breath, the diaphragm moves down, compressing the abdominal cavity and creating a pressure vacuum in the chest. This pressure differential acts like a giant suction pump, pulling lymph fluid up from the legs and into the venous system near the heart. The problem is that most people breathe shallowly, using only their upper chest. One of the most effective ways to reduce swelling is to practice deep diaphragmatic breathing. By expanding your belly as you inhale, you are mechanically activating the drain for your legs, helping the fluid move against gravity. 9. The calf muscle pump. While the diaphragm pulls fluid up, the calf muscles push it up. Your calves are often referred to as your second heart. Inside the deep veins of your legs, there are one-way valves. When your calf muscle contracts, it squeezes these veins, shooting the blood and lymph upward. When the muscle relaxes, the valves close to prevent the fluid from falling back down due to gravity. If you are sedentary, sitting at a desk all day, or standing still for long periods, this pump is inactive. The fluid pools, the pressure builds, and eventually, the valves can become damaged and leaky, leading to varicose veins. The strength of the calf muscle is paramount. If the muscle is weak or atrophied, it cannot generate enough force to fight gravity. This is why pump problems are responsible for about 90% of the visible swelling in ankles. While metabolic fixes stop the leak, mechanical fixes clear the flood. You need to wake up this second heart to see real results. Regular activation of these muscles is non-negotiable for fluid management. 10. Movement as medicine, calf raises. Knowing that the calf pump is the key, how do we fix it? The absolute best exercise to reduce ankle swelling is the calf raise. It creates a strong contraction that forces fluid out of the lower legs. You can do it standing. Rise up onto your toes, lifting your heels as high as possible, and then lower them back down. Do this until you feel a light burn in the muscles to ensure full activation. If you work at a desk, you can do seated ankle pumps. Set a timer for every hour and simply flex and point your toes 20 to 30 times. This keeps the blood moving even when you are stuck in a chair. Another powerful technique is walking. A brisk 10 to 15-minute walk creates thousands of microcontractions. It doesn't have to be a marathon, it just has to be consistent to keep the hydraulic system of your legs working. 11. Dietary strategy, low carb and fasting. To tie all the metabolic fixes together, we must look at the timing and composition of your meals. Since insulin resistance is the primary driver of water retention, fixing your diet is the ultimate cure. Adopting a low-carbohydrate diet and practicing intermittent fasting are the two most powerful tools to lower insulin. When insulin drops, the kidneys receive the signal to release excess sodium and water. Instead of snacking all day, which keeps insulin high, try to eat only 2 or 3 meals within an 8-hour window. This gives your body a break and allows it to restore its hormonal balance. By eating real, nutrient-dense foods rich in potassium and magnesium and avoiding the inflammatory seed oils and sugars that damage your vessels, you create an environment where swelling simply cannot exist. 12. Symptom management versus root cause. Finally, let's talk about common treatments like compression socks, elevating the legs, and massage. Are these useful? Yes, absolutely, but they must be understood correctly. Compression socks work by applying external pressure to counteract gravity. Elevation works by using gravity to drain the fluid. These are excellent tools for symptom management and immediate relief. However, they do not fix the root cause. As soon as you take the socks off or stand up, if the metabolic leak or the pump failure is still there, the swelling will return. To truly master your health, use these tools for immediate relief, but focus your long-term efforts on the strategies we discussed: fixing your diet, increasing minerals, and strengthening your body's natural pumps. Combining the two approaches, managing the symptoms while curing the cause, is the ultimate strategy. This holistic approach ensures that you are not just hiding the problem, but solving it. Conclusion. Leg and ankle swelling is a complex issue that involves far more than just too much water. It is a dynamic interplay between your cellular chemistry, your metabolic health, and the mechanical efficiency of your body. You are not just reducing swelling, you are improving your circulation, protecting your heart, and revitalizing your cells. The body has an incredible capacity to heal when given the right tools and the right environment. Start today. Pick one metabolic change and one physical exercise from this list, and watch how your body responds. Small, consistent actions lead to massive changes in your health over time. If you found this video helpful and learned something new about how your body works, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might be struggling with this issue. Hit that notification bell so you never miss our future tips on how to master your health. Stay proactive, stay informed, and as always, stay healthy. See you in the next video.